My willing helpers, operators, are not around, so I'll have to curtail my exhibitionism, at least until the end of this video, when you'll see me in a true light. But I'm joking. It's not exhibitionism, it's that with my accent, if I only talk behind the screen, there's bound to be some who'll get irritated. I wasn't aware that I had an accent, but I heard on Blog TV Andromeda's Wake talking about somebody with an accent, and then I had a good listen to my videos and I noticed it. So I'll not do that very often, talking behind the screen. My silly stories. Almost nobody chose the first one to be the lie. A woman grabbing my breast in a crowded bus. As Ramiam said, truth can be stranger than fiction. And I can tell you, it was very strange but entirely true. The woman was well dressed, had an intelligent face. I think she was absent-minded. She did what she did without looking, and her hand stayed there, just holding, not squeezing, for what seemed to me and my friends an interminably long time. She was looking in the other direction. I have to say here that when I say friends, I mean of the male and female sex, without about equal numbers. We were always mixed company. But this, strange as it was, wasn't the most funny part. The funny part, by far, was what I said, and the tone in which I said it. Comrade, look what you are holding on to. I didn't say, let go of my tit, or take away your hand, you perv, but used the official way of addressing people, comrade, mostly strangers, because that was the way you addressed people, instead of with Mr., Mrs., or Miss. This tradition is dying out now. The story of me vomiting in bed with my boyfriend, well, there's nothing to be added, except that it was true. I've learned my lesson. The only person to pick this story to be a lie was the pure and unadulterated The Tempus Fugitive, probably out of respect or pity for me. But, Tempus, I seem to remember that you found yourself once completely drunk on somebody else's roof from one of your videos. At least I was in bed. Although, which one is better? Tell me what you think. The false story was the most banal and paltry story, the one of the art gallery. Although it did happen, and it was hilarious, my father was the main hero, not I. He stepped on the toes of a lady, a Frau, and very politely, with a serious face, he told her, "Danke schön." I still remember my mother going slowly down a grand staircase in this palace, laughing so much that tears of laughter were running down her cheeks, and she could hardly breathe. See, I don't have much imagination to think of a new false story. Mr. Unscientific almost sussed me out, and Gabiota and the Other Side 100 definitely did. Many of you, predominantly Americans, were concerned about the story of my excellent school being turned to a seminary. It is true. But don't worry, the school is alive and well. It was moved to new buildings at the edge of the town, and this building was given back to the church or the religious institution to which it belonged before. At the change of the social order, there was something called restitution, and property that had been collectivized before was turned back to the heirs of people who used to own it. Many people had even forgotten about that property. Some people became rich. By far the most contentious was my second story about the high heels. Love high heels and wear them very often. I must admit, unwittingly, I exaggerated a bit and showed too much enthusiasm. If I hadn't said I wear them very often, it would have been entirely true. I should have added when appropriate, because sometimes the occasion is such that it's just ridiculous to wear high heels. And also, after the first 5 hours, my enthusiasm wanes a bit. But I like the look of them, don't you? I had prepared one more story about me, but I forgot to put it in the previous video. It's the following. After I was born to atheist parents, a member of my family took me one day, babysitting I suppose, and took me to a church and baptized me, in secret from my parents. They were informed after the deed, so I suppose that I am saved after all and won't go to hell. Bye!